Oh, well, one of the latest things I'm doing is talking about finding opportunity in board stewardship, and what I'm saying to boards is, if this is your situation, you can't let it go on, and that is, we have a very full board agenda, and risk is down the bottom. It gets pushed often, or it gets truncated all the time, just about. And all that happens when that risk person is not really up to it makes a presentation is the board members are thinking, where could I possibly be other than here right now?
Yeah, well, they're not thinking that because they're too busy in the phone.
Yeah, right, yeah. And my brother-in-law, who's on a few boards, said, yeah, it's the silent cancer. And so I thought, okay, well, there's some opportunity in board stewardship because, let's face it, the world's not getting any less complex.
Yeah.
We're well aware of the challenges of decision making, and the board's role is to help steward the organisation. So the management board, the management exec team, fire on all cylinders, and there can't be time for any waste between the two parties. And ticking boxes and wasting people's time is definitely a missed opportunity. So I think. In the boardrooms of many organisations, I'm hopeful that the shift will continue. And I do remember saying this about, I've been in this game for quite a while, and I used to say, you don't understand why it's so difficult at board level, is because your average board person is, in this country, white, Anglo male, over 50. And I've never heard of this risk stuff before, and so that's what we do all the time anyway. Of course, that's changing over time, and people are appreciating the value of diversity on boards for decision making, and more. So it's getting easier and easier. And I think, coming back to earlier on in the conversation, just be aware of those technically correct directors, or technically correct audit and risk committee members that want it done in a certain way or a certain colour or a certain this because the standard said that.
So none of the standards even say that, so it's all made up.
Yeah, and come back to what's going to help us be successful to challenge in this challenging world of complexity and the difficulty of making decisions when we're all biased as hell. Hey, here's a confession to make. My first book, Decide, 60,000 words on decision making on my MCI decision model. Lots of stories in it. That's one of the good feedback I get, is that people love the stories. I gave it to my friend, and his wife's American, and she read the book on the plane from San Francisco or LA to Sydney, and she sent me an unsolicited review. That was the subject, unsolicited review. Dear Bryan, I had the pleasure of reading your book, and I love but. She said, I've been to your website, I've looked at your testimonial. More than 40% of your testimonials are by women. I can only remember 3 instances of you mentioning women in the book of all these stories. And I was gobsmacked. And my wife was gobsmacked because she'd proofread it 3 times and didn't pick it up either. And it just goes to show the level of unconscious bias that we have, particularly around feminism, not feminism, but sexism.
Yeah.
And how we do it to ourselves and we don't even know. What was I going to say there? Anyway, this book is very different. I've been determined to give credit where credit's due and look differently, but I was going to say something else about it. I can't remember, but it was a moment of truth for me.
Yeah.